there were other drivers battling for the championship too, in the shape of Toyota's Didier Auriol and Juha Kankkunen. Colin was having to draw on all his talents. The penultimate round in Catalonia would be one of the most controversial rallies ever. The pressure was on, and it was Kankkunen who buckled first.
50, very long, bad left. What, bad?
Much worse was to come for Toyota. They were thrown out of the championship for running an illegal turbo. It was now down to a head-to-head battle of the Subaru teammates Colin McRae and Carlos Sainz. The atmosphere in the Subaru camp was frosty as the rally went into the final day. Sainz had a fragile 7-second lead over Colin, and boss David Richards wanted it to stay that way.
Given the position for the manufacturer's title, I just want you to hold station, drive to the finish, no risks, and then you can battle it out on the final round of the championship in Great Britain. That didn't go down very well with Colin, as you might expect, his competitive instinct coming out.
For me, there wasn't a team meeting. I mean, as a driver's always told what the result of the team meeting is, and the result was that they wanted Carlos to win in Spain because of the sort of PR value of it all, and then going into Rally GB with the real hype, which was going to be there anyway, no matter what happened. So you can understand for a young driver who was going to win one rally and with a very good chance of winning the title, was told to drop back into second place. It wasn't going to be easy for anyone to do. I just said, I can't do it. It's not something that I should be asked to do in this circumstance. I can't remember how many times, but repeatedly asked during that day to back off. But the red mist was down for sure, and I wanted to win. And I totally believe, and I still believe to this day, that in that position I shouldn't have been asked to slow down. So I didn't, and then to the point that John Spiller and Nigel Riddle on the last stage of the rally, just before the flying finish, were standing in the road trying to stop me. But the roadblock didn't manage to stop me. And then it was right into the last control, and basically it was, you'll either take time penalties or you won't have a job.
And Colin was not happy.
It was a fairly telling moment for us both, actually, whether, I had to lay down the law and say, look, at the end of the day, I'm running the team, there's no driver going to run the team for me. And Colin, with the advice of his father, and I really do think on that occasion his father was a big influence on him, said, look, you might not like it this time, but one day it'll play in your favour. And that's how life in a team is as well. If you abide by the rules, work together, then it normally comes around in full circle and plays to your benefit.
It caused friction in the team between Carlos and I, who up until that point got on very, very well together. And afterwards, after we sort of reconciled, we still got on very well together. But it wasn't the best way to go into the last round of the championship.
The final round of the 1995 championship was to get on home soil, and Colin was in fighting mood.
Because of what happened in Catalonia, it just made me even more determined to make sure I won in GB and won the championship and sort of put the record straight.
Go over there.
But typical McRae, he kept his fans in suspense. A puncture early on cost a couple of minutes. Then the team repaired a drive shaft on a road section with a little improvisation. But nothing was going to stop the British boys taking victory.
I couldn't believe the amount of support there was from the fans on the stages, almost to a point that it was going to be quite intimidating for Carlos. And almost in a way felt quite sorry for any competitor in that circumstance. So, it's so clear in my mind that there was only one way the result was going to go.
6 crest, 400. 6 crest and 6 crest, 50 to stop. Yes, spot on. That'll do for me, eh? Breathe again.
Sainz second and a young Englishman called Richard Burns coming home third, Subaru had the podium to themselves and also clinched the Manufacturers' Championship. Britain went rally crazy. Colin McRae was world champion, a household name, and would soon be awarded an MBE. No one was happier than Jimmy McRae.
I was just so proud, you know. It was one thing he said way back when he was 17 or 18 year old, he wanted to be a world champion, and even then, you know, you thought, whoa, it's a big world, this world, you know. And no, when it did happen, it was something special.
And as if that wasn't enough for the McRae clan, Alistair became British champion in the same year. One person, though, was missing from the celebrations. With the career-minded Colin not yet ready for long-term commitment, his girlfriend Alison had decided to move to Canada in 1994. Even there, she couldn't escape the news.
I was absolutely delighted for him. In fact, at that time I was living in Calgary, and I picked up the Calgary Herald, and there was a small section on the back of the paper. Colin McRae had become World Rally Champion, and his brother Alistair was British Rally Champion. So I had to pick up the phone. Although I was miles away, I just had to phone him and congratulate him.